everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela Nicole and today you're watching my updated camera collection 2022. So if you remember from last year, I did a two-part series where I went through my Polaroid and my camera collections. I will link those up above in the iCard. It's two separate videos. You might want to watch those first to get a better idea of my entire collection, but these are just the delta, what I've gotten since then. So yeah, I have a lot of cameras here to show you today, and it's kind of an amalgamation of different brands and things. So bear with me, this might feel a little disorganized, but we're in it together. Cool? Cool. So I'm going to start with the only Polaroid that I have gotten since that video came out, just so we can get it out of the way. It is a Polaroid land camera. This is the Polaroid land camera model 80A. It has its flash attachment on here. As you can see, this comes off if you want it to, and then the camera can just be a standalone camera. And when I got this camera, I also got, it came in its original box, and I got some of its accessories. So the flash attachment was one of them, and this is the exposure meter in its original box, as you can see. I will pull this out and show it to you. It attaches to the camera like this, and then there's a viewfinder right there, and the meter is right there, as you can see. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty nifty little guy, made by General Electric. The exposure meter model PR25. Pretty fun. So this camera is from 1954. It's the only Polaroid I have that's from the 50s. So that's pretty nifty there. And it's in great shape. It would definitely shoot if I had film for it. So there it is. The model 80A Polaroid land camera. It's pretty cool. It's hefty. But it's smaller than the others. I don't have any of them here with me right now to show you, but they're pretty cool. I enjoy their presence in my collection, so there it is, the only Polaroid I have gotten, which is interesting because for a long time I was really into Polaroids, and they were kind of the main camera I collected. And as you're about to see, Kodak has exploded exponentially in my collection, so let's go to those, shall we? I think we shall. So this is officially my oldest Kodak camera that I own. This is the Kodak number 3A. It's really pretty, if you can't see. It has these bright red billows, which is really fun, really pretty, and it's just a really cool looking camera. So this one is from 1914 to 1916-ish. So it's very old, obviously, and it is the oldest Kodak I own. It is very similar to the Polaroids that have these billows, but this front plate is a whole lot different comparatively. You've got a shutter right here, which is pretty fun. It has a little cover, and it moves back and forth. You can move this part of the camera up and down if you want to. And once again, I made a video going through the restoration of this camera if you'd like to see that process. It was pretty in-depth considering this is leather, and it's dyed leather, so you have to be really careful not to get that dye everywhere and not ruin it, because it can get messy real quick. But I really love this camera. My dad and I found it at a thrift store. It was my birthday present for my 19th birthday, which is pretty fun. And yeah, we went and found this in an antique store, which is a really rare antique store find. So there it is, the Kodak 3A from 1914 to 1916. Here we have another box camera. Now here's the thing, I don't know what model this camera is, and I don't know what year it's from. It does not have any labels on the inside that tell me anything about it, so right now it is just a unnamed Kodak Brownie camera. Once again, it's probably somewhere between the 1910s to 1930s. as these tend to be. It does have something broken on the inside. It sounds like there might be glass in there, which is kind of concerning, but the shutter could have broken any number of things. But something I did want to point out about this camera that I think is pretty cool is it has this sticker on it that tells you what film to use, and I love it when they have those, and that's just in such good bright color condition, which is fun. But I haven't done a restoration on this one yet. It does have some marks that can definitely get taken out and some rust on the inside. But overall, I don't know a whole lot about this one. So right now, this is just mystery Kodak Brownie camera, box camera of the past. But it is part of my collection. I got it from the same place as the number 2A Model B. And I would venture to say it's a similar model to that because I do have another camera, and it's the Kodak number 2 Model F, which is really similar to the 2A. Kodak's naming system is all sorts of out of whack, so they don't make any sense. But those cameras are really similar, so I'd venture to say this one is something along those lines. Probably a number 2, number 2A, somewhere in there. I'll have to get back to you with that information during its restoration video. But for now, it's just nameless. So this camera right here is the Kodak number 2A Model B. It is so intriguing, looks so much different than all the rest that I've shown you like this. But on a serious note, this camera is from 1924, and I got it off of eBay, as one does. You can go check out the video I did on this one, cleaning it up. I haven't done the full restoration yet of its moving parts, which if you're interested in seeing that, leave a comment down below, like this video, whatever, and let me know if you'd like to see me go in depth with this camera and take out all of the inner components, de-rust them, and get this back to working condition. That would be pretty fun. But yeah, it's your basic camera. It's got this winding key, which these are pretty indicative of the camera. If you're trying to figure out what kind of camera you have, a lot of these look really similar. Luckily for me, this one has its name printed right on the inside, but not all of them do. So you can figure out what you've got a lot of times with the way that the winding key looks, because they're all a little different and their placement is different, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, it's just your basic box camera. It has a little emblem on the back saying the name of the company. It tells you what type of film to use, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that is the Kodak number 2A Model B from 1924. So this camera right here is the Kodak 30th anniversary camera. Now that emblem, if it would, there we go, you can kind of see it there, tells you that this is the 30th anniversary camera. I made a video restoring this one early on last year, so you would have seen this already. It's not new to the channel, but it is pretty cool. They made this camera and gave it out to kids in 1930. So any kid that was turning 12 in the year of 1930 would be able to go and get one of these cameras for free. So it's kind of cool to me that this one is in as good of condition as it is, because imagine a random 12-year-old being allowed to have this, what kind of things you would do to it. But it is interesting because size-wise it's a lot smaller than the other types of Kodak Brownie cameras that are basically the same. As you can see, we'll go over this greenish black one in a minute, but the size difference is pretty substantial, so that's just an interesting note. So yeah, 1930, the anniversary Kodak came out. It's very pretty. It's got all these gold accents on it, and it came in this nice brown color. It's a pretty camera. So it's a fun one. I am glad to have this one in my collection. Go check out that other video of me restoring this one if you haven't already. I went into a lot more detail about it in that video. Last but not least, I have a camera that you've definitely seen before on my channel because it was in the last video, but this is the Brownie Hawkeye. I now own 2 of these. This is the second one. And I'm showing this to you only because I wanted to talk to you about this little situation. It has a chunk taken out of it. Pretty soon this camera will be used for some experimentation to see how we can fix that situation, because that will cause light leak and your pictures will not be usable anymore because they'll have been leaked. But the viewfinder on this camera is really clear. Right now you can just see my table, but I'll put my hand in frame. There it is. Maybe you can kind of see in there. Kind of. Hello. There's my hand. But it's really clear and really clean, and I have not touched this camera yet, so I have a feeling there's nothing that leads me to believe that this camera won't work besides that light leak problem. So hopefully by the end of it I'll have a working Brownie Hawkeye, which is pretty exciting. The Brownie Hawkeye is from 1949. So that is all of the Kodak cameras I have gotten since the last videos. Now back then I was going to make a video updating you with my other cameras that aren't branded Polaroid or Kodak cameras. At the time I only had 2 and I thought that that was going to be kind of a sad video, so I held off, but now we've got a lot more. And I used to have a weird thing against having not brand name cameras, but that's irrelevant, there's no point. So I've got a bunch now that I am going to share with you. This camera that I've got right here is the Safari Starshot 35mm camera. It's got the numbers FCC 160 on the top, if that means anything to anybody. But I got this camera from a mystery box that I found on eBay, so go check that video out as well. All these videos have some, or all these cameras have some sort of a video along with them. But, you know, that's normal, I guess. It's kind of nice. You can go learn some more about them as I show them to you. But this is a 50mm camera. It's from the 1980s, I believe 1986. I might be wrong there, but I think that's right. And it's just a standard wind and shoot. It's basically the same as like a disposable camera, but you can refill the film. But it's a Canadian camera, which is really interesting. Makes sense because the person I got it from is Canadian, so makes sense. But yeah, this is the Safari Starshot 35mm film camera. If you'd be interested in seeing a video where we learn how to do film photography, let me know, because that would be pretty fun to do. But yeah, it's just a basic point and shoot. There's nothing super exciting. I don't have any stories besides the mystery box situation. So go check that video out. This little guy is the Mercury satellite camera. Now that 127, I used to think that was part of the brand name, but actually I think it's just because it uses 127 film. I might be wrong there, but that is what I think, and it's very shiny, so my lighting is having a little bit of an issue, so sorry about that. But yeah, this is a pretty fun camera. It's very similar to the Starmite 2 or the Kodak Brownie Holiday. It's just really reminiscent of that style of camera. Now, I have not cleaned this one. I have not really touched it since I got it. Just because I've had other ones to deal with at the time, but I think it's a pretty fun camera. It would be really fun to use and to shoot with at some point, so maybe we'll try that at some point in the future if I can get my hands on some 127 film. But yeah, I don't have a big story on it either. This camera would be from the 1960s, 1964 to be exact. And yeah, it's an interesting little guy. I like its logo, the satellite thing. Anyway, that's all I got on this one. There's not a whole lot to tell you. So this camera is another no name. I have literally no clue about this camera, like, at all. It does not have any branding on it whatsoever. Let me pull you in here. It doesn't have any branding on it. It looks pretty cool. It has some of that, like, Art Deco style on the front, which is interesting. And I've tried reverse image searching on Google for it, and I literally can't find anything about it. So I'm gonna have to go do some more intense research, because it's weird. Like, the number reader, that red window that most cameras have, is down there. It's just weird. Like, it's a really strange camera. So once again, a no-name camera with literally no history. But you know, that just happens sometimes. I ended up getting this one at the same time I got that Kodak 3A. They just threw it in as a friend. So it's a weird one, but it's fun, and I'll have to go do some more research on it, because it's weird. It's a really weird camera. I literally don't understand it at all, but if I can figure out how to open it, we'll probably get some more information, because it looks like there's a hinge. Yeah, I don't know, like, it's got patent numbers on the inside. It stinks. It's got patent numbers on the inside, but I've looked those up, and they don't come up with anything. So I have no clue. I have no clue who holds the patents for this camera, but it exists, and I have it in my collection, so, you know, there's always that. But it is definitely broken. Like, the shutter works, but it's broken, because I don't know. It's just weird. Like, this says bulb. It's for, like, attaching a... I don't know. I don't know. Okay, we're getting down to the wire, people. So here we have the Argus 75, which is a cool little guy. This camera is from 1958. And it is a twin reflex lens camera, and it's pretty neat. You can, once again, see in there pretty good. You can kind of see my face in there. If I bring this lower, maybe you'll be able to see it better, but you can kind of see. Hi. Once again, this camera would probably work if I could get film for it. It's a pretty nifty little guy. That was loud. And it's got a nice long neck strap that you can wear if you're so inclined. And yeah, it's interesting. It's got a little tripod hole on the bottom of it, which is cool. I think it's interesting that we haven't changed tripod mounts at all since this time. It's interesting. But yeah, it's a fun one. The shutter is like this little button right here, which is different too, but it's cool. And then you can set like a timer on it. It's got all sorts of stuff. It's really heavy for some reason. But yeah, this is the Argus 75. I want to do a little restoration on this top part because I think it would be nice to have that black logo that's embedded in there. I would like to put that back in. So hopefully we'll do that soon. But yeah, that is one of the only twin reflex lens cameras I have. I've got 2 of them. So last but not least, this is probably one of my most prized possessions out of my whole life, or camera collection, or anything. This camera is the Voigtlander Superb. This camera is the Voigtlander Superb from 1933. And it is just a really pretty camera, as you can see. So it had originally this leather strap, and mine is long since broken off, but go figure, it's from the 1930s. And it is my other twin reflex camera. There's film in this camera. I never knew that there's film in this camera. I never knew that. I just never looked, I guess. This camera was my great-grandpa's. That's wild. There's no way. I don't want to open it because I'm going to expose it. That was a long tangent. This camera used to have a leather strap, but it has obviously long since broke, which is really tragic. And that little tangent I just went on is because I realized that there's film in this camera. As you can see, there's a number 1 there, which means there is film in the camera. So that's kind of cool. This camera belonged to my grandpa. My great-grandpa. It got passed down to my grandpa and then my dad, who then gave it to me, so that's pretty neat. And it pops open, as you can see, and that becomes your viewfinder in there, which is pretty cool. It's kind of hard to show on camera, but it does work. You can see through it. It's just a little dark. Yeah, it's neat. It's got all of the different settings in a little time plate back there. And it's just really pretty. It's got that cool logo right there. It's just a neat camera. But now that I know this has film in it, we're going to have to go investigate. So that'll probably also be a video because everything's a video. But yes, this is probably my most coveted camera of the whole collection, and it is one of the first cameras I got, so it's super special. And last but not least, but kind of the least, is the tragedy that is this camera. So let me just show you what's going on here. So this is the Keepy number 2A. So here's the deal. Next week, you're gonna get a video that starts off a trilogy for my channel. I got this camera. Let me pop up a picture of what it looked like when I first got it. I got this camera and I've taken it on as a project to restore it. So right now, this is where we're at in the restoration process. So if you're interested in seeing how we take this to its new beautiful form, make sure you stick around on the channel and you'll get to see this entire restoration process for this camera. So I'm not going to go into too much detail with this one because you're just going to have to go watch that series and you'll get to see all of the information. This is gutted right now. There used to be a shutter panel on the front of this. There's mirrors sticking out of the sides. I took all the glass paneling out. The metal facets are taken off. It is basically just a wooden box at this point. So if you're interested, please go check out that series. We've been working really hard on it, my dad and I, and it's going to be really fun. So make sure you tune in for the next 3 weeks to get these videos about the Keepy number 2A and our restoration process. I've learned a lot, and it makes it so that I'll be able to do a lot more with the cameras I have now. So please go check those out, like them, subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss those. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already and you'd like to, hit subscribe down below to become a member of the family and you won't miss out on any of these awesome camera restoration videos. Keep an eye out because there's lots of content coming this way this summer. So stick around, watch some fun camera content, and thanks for watching this video. I hope you had a good time. Make sure you go check out those other 2 collection videos so you can get an idea of the entire breadth of my camera collection. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.